Ooh, baby. We've cracked the top 1,000. What a week it was, scoring 930 points. Nothing got me more up and about, though, than George Mawala going absolutely berserk at 2 in the morning. I still had my triple captaincy, which I put on Will Jordan, and it was just beautiful, wasn't it? The major letdowns for my team this round: Lapis Labuscagni's yellow card, Ellis Genge didn't cause the damage I was hoping for, and Joshua Tuisova just couldn't get it going. Overall, though, pretty happy with the team's performance. There's a few massive talking points heading into the quarterfinals. Firstly, which matchups will reign supreme this weekend, what to do with your boosters, who to throw the captaincy on, and I'll also let you know how I'll be structuring my team and hopefully giving you a pretty clear strategy moving forward. So starting off with the matchups for this weekend, they're all relatively tight ones. I'll quickly go through them and the players I'll be targeting. Wales vs Argentina. I think this will be a pretty strange match, to be honest. I think it'll have its moments of openness and absolute franticness. Both sides can be pretty leaky in defense and are real momentum teams. With that said though, I don't think there's a lot of points on offer fantasy-wise. Lewis Rees-Zammit and Liam Williams could have absolute monster games, but it's a bit of a risk. Jack Morgan and Juan Martin Gonzalez could see some pretty big upside in the back row. Just given how these kinds of games play out. Also, Will Rowlands has been one of the best locks in the competition for Wales, so he's pretty much a lock-in for my team. Who I really like the sound of, though, is George North. In some great form at the moment, I think he's definitely up there in the top 3 centres you can pick for this weekend. Averaging 47 fantasy points per week, paired up against Argentina, who are pretty suspect in defence, especially in their centres. There's a lot to like about him. Now, the second game of the round, Ireland vs New Zealand, will be a beauty of a game. I'll be super surprised as well if this ends up being a low-scoring contest. In their series in New Zealand last year, I think there was an average of 50 points scored per game, so there's plenty of points on offer. And just to reinforce this point, at this World Cup, both teams sit first and second for tries scored. Both are right up there for offloads and line breaks. Sure, they'll have tougher opposition versing each other, but that doesn't really change the way they approach the game with that attacking flair. Now, I say this every week, the All Blacks outside backs are a great attacking option. They run for more metres on average than any other international side. They also love using that cross kick as an attacking option, which really racks up their number of clean breaks in a game. They're actually 19 clear of any other team in the tournament so far. Which brings me to Will Jordan and Mark Talia. Definitely should have one, if not both of these guys on your team for this weekend. I would say Mark Talia is definitely going to get you a solid score every week, just because of the number of tackle busts he gets, where Will Jordan, if he's on, has got that really high ceiling. I also think the All Blacks forwards should get through plenty of tackles in this game as Ireland look to keep ball in hand. My top 3 All Blacks forwards I'd be picking fantasy-wise: Ardie Savea, Shannon Frizzell, and Scott Barrett. I say it every week, Richie Mo'unga at 10 is very tempting, but at 13 credits, it's really hard to justify that price. Geordie Barrett at 12 I really like just because of his ball playing, hard running, and also he's that perfect chip kick option which we know Richie Mo'unga loves. For Ireland, well, I think Bundy Aki is an absolute must-have every week that he's in the competition now. You can tell he also just enjoys having a crack against the All Blacks, and he also leads the number of carries in the competition to date. Similar to the All Blacks, the Irish back 3 are good at getting attacking stats. Mack Hansen, Hugo Keenan, and James Lowe. You can chuck any 3 of these guys in and they could score pretty big. I know a lot of people will be keen on Dan Sheehan for this weekend, but I'm staying clear. For me, he's the 3rd best hooker option, and I can't see them scoring any more tries against the All Blacks. And it should go without saying, if you can sneak an Irish back rower in for this weekend, they should get plenty of action. Just do it. Now, there's 2 ways I see England versus Fiji playing out. The first being Fiji come out with some flying Fijian flair and absolutely blow England off the park. Or what I think is more likely to happen is England come out, put on a tactical clinic against Fiji and kick them out of the contest. If it does come down to a game of patience, I think it'll definitely favour England. And while betting-wise England probably do have the best matchup, I don't think it'll be a triathlon at all. For that reason, Owen Farrell at 10, probably a good option. He'll play inside centre, should get a few carries and take plenty of kicks. Really building up his numbers in base stats. If Jamie George is named at hooker for England, I'm 100% bringing him in. Plays big minutes, they'll probably go for more tries, it just makes sense. Same with Henry Arundel. If he's named to start, I think he's just too hard to pass up for me. Especially when you think like Fiji play that rush jamming defence. It's going to be a line break lottery for England if they can get the ball wide. Also, if you have the money to squeeze Ellis Genge in, I know I might have one more punt on him this weekend. I know that attacking upside's there. He looks so enthusiastic on the field, but it's just not converting to fantasy points yet. From Fiji, I just don't think I can go near their centers again. Tuisova and Radrada have been absolutely punishing me these last few weeks. They just never seem to get the ball. It's constantly pick and drives from the forwards or one off the ruck stuff. They don't seem to get the ball to their danger men ever. To be honest, I will probably only jump on a cheap prop from Fiji, but I think they actually have the lowest team average in fantasy. And it's just crazy when you think about Fiji rugby, you hear Radrada, Tuisova, you think lots of line breaks, offloads, tries, but this Fijian team's just been completely different to your traditional Fijian side. Now, the final game of the round, South Africa versus France. This is a World Cup final quality game. From France, I think Ramos is your main man that you want. Should kick lots of goals, but also gets pretty involved in the attack. Also, Damien Penaud's been unbelievable so far in this World Cup, averaging 100 points per game that he's played in. Is he going to continue this form against the Springboks? Possibly. I don't think 41% of people should be getting behind him this weekend, but he really shouldn't burn you too badly. Just get back in the winning horse. Malvaka's been awesome in the hooker position, so no qualms there if you go with him. If Dupont's named at 9, definitely bring him in for this weekend. He is by far and away the best number 9 in the competition. Also, actually, besides maybe Cameron Guard. Also, Olivon and Aldred, pretty good options in the back row. They'll be giving it their all to get France home. And the Springboks are giving us plenty of tough decisions to make. Andre Pollard probably slots a ton of goals this weekend against France. I have a feeling too some of their veteran players will really stand up this weekend. Faf de Klerk, Eben Etzebeth, some of their props. I mean, they've been terrible in fantasy so far, but I think they'll get more minutes and be playing with more purpose. I don't really love the idea of Mapimpi or Aranza this weekend. I think one will score plenty of points, but the other won't, and it's a risk I'm just not willing to take. What I do like the look of though a lot is Damien Diolande at inside centre. I think Lucanio Am's scheduled back to return at outside centre this weekend. If that's the case, I'm definitely on the Diolande train. Now, before I go through my team, let's quickly talk about boosters for a second. I've had a lot of questions coming my way about how to use them in these final rounds. Basically, you'll need to use one of the 3 each week. How I've mapped this out is this weekend I'll probably go with the super kicker while there's some tight games happening. Next week I will definitely be using my triple captaincy option when the harder side of the draw comes up against the soft side. Then in the final I'll throw defensive king on who statistically is the top tackler on the field. Now on the screen here, this is how I picked my team heading into this weekend. I'm not stoked about it at all at this stage. I probably need a few more points of difference to try and make up the numbers. I'll be throwing super kicker on Ramos and just seeing what happens. I'm really undecided with George North or Rico Ioane in the centre position. Both have been pretty consistent, and for me, if the All Blacks go on to win, Rico needs a huge game and his score will be bonkers. Like I said, pretty unsure about my team at the moment. Really hard with so many great players to choose from and such a small salary cap. For captains, I've currently got this sitting on Will Jordan. If Mark Talia does come in though, he'll get that captaincy option. If you do want to go for a point of difference and make up 50 to 100 points on the pack, Arundel or Reece Salmon are probably your go-to guys. There's no reason why they don't go on to have the biggest score of the round. Pretty keen to hear your team, so let me know down in the comments. I'll try to reply to as many of you as I can, and thanks for watching.